If you're looking for an awesome product at a great price, be sure to check out the link in the description. 21 Senate Democrats are demanding an immediate halt to U.S. funding for the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, GHF, a controversial aid organization operating in Gaza. Their strongly worded letter, spearheaded by Senators Chris Van Hollen and Peter Welch, accuses the GHF of violating decades of humanitarian law and resulting in the deaths of over 700 civilians seeking food aid. The senators cite reports and eyewitness accounts detailing civilians being fired upon by tanks, drones, helicopters, and ground troops while attempting to access food and supplies. This damning indictment comes amidst a growing international outcry over the GHF's operations, backed by both U.S. and Israeli interests, and its preferential access facilitated through coordination with the Israeli military and private U.S. security contractors. The Trump administration authorized a $30 million grant to the GHF in late June, with $7 million already disbursed. The letter highlights the deeply troubling blurring of lines between aid delivery and military security operations, a model the senators argue shatters well-established norms governing humanitarian aid distribution since the Geneva Conventions of 1949. The GHF's launch has been marred by violence and death from the outset. Jake Wood, the founding executive director and a former U.S. Marine, resigned in May, citing the impossibility of adhering to humanitarian principles while implementing the GHF's plan. Boston Consulting Group, involved in the foundation's logistics, also withdrew shortly after. UN human rights officials report a staggering 766 deaths and nearly 5,000 injuries among those trying to reach GHF distribution sites alone. Overall, UN figures indicate over 1,000 deaths related to food aid access, with an additional 100 believed to have perished from starvation. The senators' concerns extend to the involvement of U.S. security contractors, Safe Reach Solutions and UG Solutions, who, according to Associated Press reports, have employed live ammunition and stun grenades at distribution sites, even in the absence of threats. Many of these contractors reportedly lack combat experience or proper weapons training. UG Solutions, a North Carolina-based firm, recently hired 7letter, a crisis communications firm with former Biden and Obama administration spokespersons, including former Pentagon spokesperson Sabrina Singh. A former contractor for the foundation, Anthony Aguilar, a U.S. Army veteran, corroborated these accounts to BBC News, describing witnessing Israeli forces firing upon Palestinian crowds and even a tank round into a civilian gathering. He characterized the operation as amateurish and brutally excessive. The senators further criticized the Trump administration for exempting the GHF from standard oversight procedures, including comprehensive audits typically required for first-time USAID grant recipients. The letter notes that USAID officials raised serious concerns about operational and reputational risks, alongside a lack of oversight. The GHF, however, maintains it has distributed over 95 million meals and denies the violence, attributing reports to Hamas misinformation. President Trump, during a recent visit to Scotland, echoed Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's claim that Hamas is stealing food aid, a justification used for restrictions on humanitarian deliveries despite the Israeli military's own admission of lacking evidence. The GHF has adopted an increasingly aggressive online stance, claiming the UN's inability to deliver aid and even offering to take over the distribution of all UN aid currently in Gaza. This offer, made by the foundation's executive chairperson, Reverend Johnny Moore, in a Wall Street Journal op-ed, contrasts sharply with the senator's argument that the GHF's 4 militarized distribution sites cannot replace the UN's previous network of over 400 aid distribution points. The letter's release coincides with 2 prominent Israeli human rights groups, Selam and Physicians for Human Rights Israel, declaring that Israel is committing genocide against Palestinians in Gaza. This declaration, citing coordinated actions to destroy Palestinian society, marks a significant turning point, being the first time major Israeli rights organizations have publicly reached such a conclusion. The senators have given Secretary Rubio 2 weeks to respond to detailed questions concerning civilian casualties, funding mechanisms, contractor operations, and compliance with humanitarian principles. The letter concludes with a forceful demand: there should be no American taxpayer dollars contributing to this scheme. Adding further weight to the mounting criticism, Independent Senator Angus King of Maine announced his opposition to providing further U.S. support to Israel until the humanitarian crisis is addressed, stating that Israel's conduct is an affront to human decency. Senator King vowed to withhold all aid until a demonstrable change in Israeli policy is evident, stating his simple litmus test: no aid of any kind as long as there are starving children in Gaza due to the action or inaction of the Israeli government. The situation remains deeply troubling, with the international community grappling with the devastating consequences and demanding accountability.